Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Kings of the Swamp.
Ball's loose at the 38. Gators got it. Wow.
Join Sean Kelly and the rest of the broadcast team as they bring you Gator football all season long.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Gators.
On your home for Florida football, the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
The Florida Gators play here. Listen to select games on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
GSX Lynn Haven, W Field, Q Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida airs the biggest games of the week from the SEC, ACC, and beyond. If it matters in college football, it's on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Sports Blitz.
The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now, we've had a busy weekend of college football. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 17's phone line, 850-215-6290. As always, on a Tuesday, I got LSU Jeff with me today. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yep,
good.
You look good. You look good. I'm glad. And as always, in the glass bubble, we got Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher, how you doing today?
Roll Tide.
Oh, yes, it's already started. We definitely have to talk about a lot of stuff. And as always, on Tuesday, we have a man by the name of Taylor Devers here with us today from the Chop Chat. And normally we go 5:20 with Taylor, and he stays on with the whole rest of the show. But today, in my generosity and my generous spirit that I'm feeling, I called Taylor and asked him, could he possibly come on a little bit early? And Taylor, for whatever reason, not sure why, he obliged. Taylor, how you doing today, my friend?
It's a great, great day to be a Florida State Seminole.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Oh, man, here we go. All right. So my phone started blowing up on Saturday night, if you guys could imagine. And, I was expecting to be sent something, but it didn't show up. I think it was just too hot. But some humble pie was supposed to be delivered today for me. And thankfully it didn't show up because I'm not really that hungry right now after watching Saturday's performance. So, Taylor, you went to the game. Let's dive into it. Just tell us how it feels to be a Florida State Seminole waking up on a Sunday morning after the performance on Saturday at Doak Campbell Stadium.
So, guys, I'll tell you what. Verizon had their little SOS outage problem. Literally didn't have my phone for a solid whole day. So, congratulations to Verizon, by the way. But, man, Florida State absolutely dominated that game. From start to finish, I thought that was something that Florida State fans needed to see. They got it. Castellano said that they don't have Nick Saban now. They don't even have to worry about it. And I think Florida State put the foot on the metal. They were able to dominate this game from start to finish. They weren't perfect, but it was a great atmosphere. Tallahassee was rocking. Mike Norvell has talked about Doak Campbell Stadium was probably one of the loudest environments he's ever been in his coaching career. And I would definitely agree. That is one environment that I never would have thought would have happened at this point. Even with the renovation and the reduced capacity, Florida State was rocking all night. The fans were great. Florida State was great. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, I was able to watch it, and I actually watched it 2 times, so I do know a little bit about it. It was definitely loud. You could tell that the fans were there. The rain didn't come like I thought it was going to come early, and so even if it would have, I saw a lot of them Florida State guys with their shirts off, and they were not interested in going inside the stadium like I predicted. Again, another wrong prediction by me as far as this game goes. So what do you think, Taylor? What do you think was the keys to the victory as far as when Florida State started out?
Well, do you want me to start with the bum Ty Simpson, probably one of the worst quarterbacks in the SEC to kind of start? Or do you want me to start with the 17, now 18-year-old Ryan Williams that had a case of the drop?
You can say all of those things. I just would like to hear what you got to say. It's good.
I don't. I think no. Listen. I'm LSU, but I'm pretty sure that Taylor was so watching Florida State that he did not get to see the Kentucky quarterback throw 85 yards total passing, and then Arch Manning lay a brick and not score until almost the 4th quarter. I mean, those two guys laid bricks.
The Calzada actually defeated Alabama. So another quote-unquote bad quarterback has now defeated Alabama. And now this other one, Castellanos, is also a bad quarterback. So let's go ahead and turn that attention to beating Alabama also.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, if you go into the NFL and look at your good quarterbacks that have beaten Alabama, you probably really don't find very many. Most of those guys are sitting on the couch or decided to do something else in life. So I get it. I agree with you. But let's get back to this game. Let's figure out what happened. Now, you had a lot of the names that I was very familiar in hearing. And so with some of those guys, tell us what – offensively, give us being there and seeing it. What did you see out there?
Yeah, it was a lot of misdirection, a lot of guys that wanted some opportunities. Mike Norvell has always talked about this is an offense that's built for playmakers. You didn't see that last year. You saw Malik Benson not really performing up to expectations. You saw Jaylen Brown not doing what he was supposed to either. Mike Norvell comes in and he gets Jalen Lucas back from injury. Super incredible guy, super lightning quick, had that long reception in the game on that misdirection. You had a guy like Micah Dancy, former Florida State track star. He's still with the program now. He runs a 400-meter time that is probably faster than anybody in the world right now at this point. Alabama saw it on full display. You saw the eye candy. You saw the Gus Malzahn offense going back and forth, moving the defensive round, and even had some fans even talking about how Alabama's defense was slow. I mean, that's something you don't see very often. This was a huge get for Gus. He was able to move the offense around, able to show his dominance, intensity, physicality, aggression, all of the words that you can describe with this. It even has some Alabama fans talking about how the defense was just lackadaisical. It was slow. It was unmotivated. I mean, it was something to behold because Gus Malzahn was basically able to convert every third down that he really wanted to. Even had Mike Norvell out there calling a 4th and 1 on his own 34 to get the first down to secure the game and to take control of this game. I mean, that aggression alone says that Florida State wanted to be there. Their offense was ready to push. And guess what? Tommy only had to throw 14 passes. It wasn't like he had to make it or break it with this offense. He did what he wanted to do, and he accomplished it, and he got it done.
Well, and that's what we talked about. If you remember, for the weeks of coming into this, we talked about a lot about what Gus normally does. And that's the biggest thing is that he's not going to have you, unless he's got a quarterback that can really just stand in a pocket and throw. But if you look at it, what Gus did with Tommy is he moved him around. He did exactly what we thought he was going to do. He was one of those, I mean, it just looked like Nick Marshall out there. It looked exactly like Nick Marshall out there running the offense, doing the things that he needed to do. And, I did see it start raining a bit, and it rained a couple of times while it seemed like Alabama had the ball. It seemed like that it didn't rain hardly whenever Florida State had the ball. Was that the case or no?
No, it was not the case. Florida State actually had to take it on to halftime there with about 30 seconds left. They were kind of moving the ball. They got it around like the 38-yard line there. And Luke Pettibone, who was our starting center, he's playing well all game. Rain started to really pick up there with about 30 seconds left, and he basically snapped it right to Roydell on 2 hops. Like it was almost a shortstop for the Atlanta Braves out there trying to pick the ball up. For about probably about 2 minutes left to go in the second quarter till all the way about to the maybe halfway point of the third quarter, it was raining super hard for no apparent reason. We had rainbows out there. I mean, I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, that's what I was surprised about, is that it wasn't raining much. And when I did see it raining, it just seemed like it was there during that time when Alabama was on the offensive side. So when you saw the first drive, when Alabama took it down and scored, what was your idea? What was you thinking? Because, everybody, I believe it was probably like, are we going to get blown out here, or, what's going on? What did you feel, and did you feel like the atmosphere changed at all from where you were sitting?
So really, ironically enough, I had a couple of Alabama fans sitting behind me, and they were all like, well, the game's over, this is physical, this is domination. Yes, it was a 17-play drive for 75 yards. But, I mean, realistically, they had to cover 3 third downs. They had to cover 2 fourth downs. Wow. It just seemed like everything was kind of a grind. I mean, it was really just 5, 6 yards, maybe a couple yards here and there. I mean, Florida State even got themselves to a 3rd and 5, a 3rd and 6. I mean, it just felt like Florida State couldn't really get anything going, because while it wasn't a 20, 30-yard chunk play, it was, okay, let's just cut our way down the field, inside runs, let Ty Simpson kind of move off the pocket, off his throwing point, his standpoint, like a couple yards. So these 2 or 3 yard passes to Josh Cuevas, and he was able to kind of get that to end the drive for the touchdown. I wasn't really that impressed with the drive personally. I thought that Alabama brought the physicality. I thought that was what we were going to see most of the game, and it was going to be that grinded out fest that I was thinking we were going to have. But, I mean, as you see in the rest of the game, it didn't really pan out that way.
Yeah, and that's what I was wondering. I wonder how I was curious to see what the mood was in the building. And then, taking it to, straight down the field, the opportunity for you guys to start your offensive series and then throwing that long pass. What do you think? I mean, was there a point in the game early? Like, was that the point when the belief, because obviously you're coming in, everybody, even if you're a Florida State fan, I mean, let's just rewind this for a second, Taylor. Who did you pick when we did our picks?
Not so fast. I picked Florida State.
Okay, so you picked Florida State. Everybody else picked Alabama, and most people picked Alabama, but basically you and Coach Corso. So everybody was there. Everybody was, kind of, going the same way. Obviously, when do you think that it happened? When was there this belief in, okay, we might be able to do this?
Yeah, so there was a couple of points in the game. I'll kind of address the 3rd and 11 to score White. Honestly, I mean, it was a 4 verticals pattern by the offense. They were able to get Squirrel White on the outside. He is an Alabama killer at this point. And back in 23, he had 10 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. I mean, this guy, if he's healthy, is something to behold and something very dangerous. But you really saw there was a couple of things. I think in the fourth quarter, when Florida State was only up 28-17, and Gavin Sawchuk, it was a physical run. I mean, they had the all offensive line pushing them in for a 14-yard touchdown to make it 31-17. I think that's when it finally hit in. I know that Mike Norvell talks about how the crowd was so loud. Personally, I thought they were okay. It wasn't the loudest environment I've ever been to at Doak Campbell Stadium. I didn't really get the hype in terms of that. It wasn't that the stadium was quiet, but I thought when you got to that point where it was about 7:17 left to go in the game, I thought that this was an opportunity that Florida State had finally done what it set out to do, and maybe this was a realization for the fans to say, wow, we actually did it.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that the long pass on the first drive was like, because he had 2 or 3 steps on him, and obviously we talked about Tom, Castellanos being able to throw the deep ball, but, having to have time so that he could throw and step and all that, because obviously he's not, he doesn't have a rifle arm. I mean, he's not going to wow you with his, he'll wow you with his athleticism. He's not going to wow you with his arm talent. But to get a pass like that, it was almost like, wait a minute, how did he get so wide open? And then had he not overthrown it just a little bit, I mean, he could have walked that one into the end zone.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised because earlier in that drive, Florida State had an offensive holding call that forced them to 1st and 20 in that drive. And I was like, oh, my gosh, here we go. Florida State's got to be ahead of the chains. You're putting yourself behind the chains. You end up having I think it was like a 5-yard carry and then like a 4-yard out route to Randy Pittman, who we'll talk about him a little bit later. He's great. But that 3rd and 11 play, as soon as he completed that and they were at about the 9 or 10-yard line, I think he pretty much knew that Castellanos is going to finish the deal. But I even had that same Alabama fan behind me at that point talk about the great drive. And I got an earful for him a little bit earlier before that 3rd and 11 play saying, if we stop Florida State here, Alabama could go up 14-0, and it might be the history. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that quite happened in that circumstance. But it was really humbling to see him kind of quiet or get louder halfway through the game.
Yeah, we're talking with Taylor Devers with Chop Chat, Norvale Central. So when you looked at the game, you were feeling those thoughts, and definitely the momentum change. There was momentum swings, not regularly like it is in a normal close football game, but when you guys got up a little bit, how did it make you feel? Did you feel like, okay, if we can just continue to run the ball and continue to move the chains and have good long drives that chew up some of this clock, did you think that about when you were up and you knew coming out of the half, you were like, okay, we got to really make a stop? And then when Alabama seemed flat again when they come out of the halftime, was that when you thought, okay, this is probably going to go our way if we can just continue to run the ball?
Yeah, I mean, even like halfway through the first half, you started to see Usman Kroma, the true freshman out there, number 32. He was aggressively making runs left and right, breaking tackles. I mean, it was incredible to see, but you started to see the physicality start to show up, and you're like, man, Florida State's actually competing with these guys. Not to say that I didn't believe they couldn't, but I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a hassle. We'd have to kind of break into the game. It would have to kind of expand itself later for in the ball game. It might be a tight contest by them, but Florida State's going to have to keep pushing. But, I mean, it just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And it seemed like Alabama couldn't get out of their own way. And I thought that was kind of the actuality and reality to that point. When Florida State, I think, got a field goal and they made it 17-7, you started to wonder, and you were like, man, Florida State's putting up, 60-play drives, 50-play drives, and Alabama's just kind of putting up, 20 here, 30 here, and ending with a punt or a field goal. And it just didn't look all in sync, and you started to really think about what Florida State was doing on offense and how that was playing a part. And I think you really saw it there at the second quarter.
Yeah, well, the thing is that when you see it happening in real time, you start to wonder, what is going on? Who's really, ready to play or who's not ready to play? And, with me being a gentleman like I am, I have given you almost all of the 20 minutes. I am, once we're done with the first 20 minutes of the show, I'm going to give my opinion about it. We're not going to take a break just yet, but that's why I'm doing the more inquisitive questioning to ask you what you think and where you are with it. And the thing is that did you notice, did Alabama travel well to Tallahassee? Because I really couldn't tell. Obviously, the colors are pretty close. But did Alabama travel well for this game?
Actually, it was kind of surprising. So I had actually brought a friend of mine. He is actually from Tuscaloosa, and he kind of looked at the crowd himself, and he was like, man, I really don't see a whole lot of Alabama here, considering it's about a 5-hour drive. They brought a little pep band that was maybe like 20, 30 people, but it wasn't anything miraculous. I thought Alabama was going to travel. Obviously, Florida State's going to see them next year when they travel over to Bryant-Denny, but I just didn't really see that much as I thought it would. I know we got the one guy on television we'll talk about later, but I just didn't understand the lack of traveling. Maybe I missed it, but, I mean, I didn't really see a whole lot myself.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because when I looked and I would just kind of pause the TV and kind of, take a glance over the stadium and just kind of look at the different stuff that was going on, I didn't really see a lot of Crimson. I didn't see what seemed to be Alabama fans. It didn't get loud on TV. Obviously, it's different sounds on TV and all, but it wasn't a loud game when Alabama would be on offense and would do something good, or even when things would happen well for them on defense. But, that was one of the concerns that I had. I didn't know if they would travel. I figured they would, but I wasn't very sure that they'd travel well. So that was kind of surprising to see you, having been there, that you would know what's going on. But we're going to go ahead and take our break. And when we come back, Paul Wilson's going to give his dissecting of this Alabama Crimson Tide football team. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Reach out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 17 studio line. Have you ever wanted to reach out and smack someone?
Sit your ass down and shut up!
The new Sports Blitz. Rants, hot takes, and huge reactions are incoming.
You've got to have a bad game at some point.
Feel the burn.
This is unacceptable at the University of Alabama!
The Red 17 studio line.
This could go 7 games.
850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida. Get in the game.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday afternoon. The remainder of the day, mostly sunshine and 88 with a gentle breeze at 8 miles per hour out of the northeast. For tonight, clear skies with a gentle breeze and a low near 72. Tomorrow, a wind out of the east-southeast 5 to 10 miles per hour, sunny and a high around 88. For Thursday, sunshine and a high of 88. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Keep the adventure going this fall in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Our SUV family is built for all-in adventures and endless possibilities. Stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. You'll find the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Save cool cash this week on the purchase of a new Kia SUV. Now offering 0% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. The road is yours in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento with $20.83 per $1,000 financed in 48 months. Qualities limited, cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 9/2/25.
Your 2025 Atlanta Braves are still grinding out the wins and making memorable moments for fans all across Braves country.
Swung on and belted, headed for the Braves bullpen, and gone!
Tonight, it's another National League battle for Ozzie Albies and the Braves as they look for a big win against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field.
Braves taking on the Cubs. Pregame 6 o'clock. First pitch 6:40. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. Your favorite team is garbage.
Dallas? I don't want you going to Dallas at all.
And we're here to explain why.
That place is crawling with crackheads and debutantes, and half of them play for the Cowboys.
It's time to take out the trash on the Sports Blitz on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in. You can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We're so glad that you're here joining us, whether you're riding down the road, whether you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or the ESPN Northwest Florida app. You can download that. It's free. It's awesome. It's all good. We have Taylor Devers on the phone with Chop Chat, Norvell Central. We've been talking about the game. But first, before we continue, on Friday, we were able to give away Florida Gator tickets. And one of the big Florida Gator fans, Dylan, is on the phone with us. Dylan, are you there with us?
Yes, sir, I am here.
Oh, man, Dylan, I had so many people that I talked to on Friday after the show, and they said that was just the greatest part of the show outside of Jeff. They said that was the greatest part of the show about hearing you get to go to your first time at the Swamp to go watch them Gators dominate 55-0. So, Dylan, how was your trip, man?
Oh, it was something. Let me tell you, we definitely blew them out the water. I'll tell you that. It was already 37-0 at halftime. They stood no chance whatsoever. But just being able to cheer with the crowd and doing the chomp and all that, it's definitely an experience. It definitely is an experience.
That is awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, there was, like I said, over the weekend, we were all talking about it. We were so, looking forward to hearing from you, and I'm so glad we got you to get to call in and tell us about it. I had a friend of mine that him and his son went, and they said they stayed the whole time, and it was loud, and it was just, a electric environment. Was it just something like a dream come true for you as far as like just looking over and seeing all those folks going crazy for the Gators?
Never would have imagined that I would have been at a Gators game ever. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah. Well, man, that is awesome.
It's definitely something that I would want to relive and redo again. It was amazing.
That's great, man. So, yep, that's just wonderful. And we're so thankful that you got to go and we was able to be a part of that. And, man, I was just glad that the Gators won and you got to experience all that. Those players look a little bigger than they do on TV, don't they?
100%. 100%. I'll tell you, it was a nice ride home, though, knowing that we whooped them. It was a nice ride home.
Oh, yeah. DJ Lagway looked good. Everything. The offense was rolling. Obviously.
I'm not going to lie. His accuracy could have been a little better, but for the most part, he was on point.
Yeah. I mean, they looked good. The AP thought they looked good, too, so they moved them up a little bit. So Florida's doing good. Well, you know what? I appreciate you, Dylan. I thank you for calling. And, man, you can give everybody in Radio Land, Facebook, YouTube, and all that a big Go Gators real quick.
Go Gators!
All right, Dylan. Thanks, man. We appreciate it. Have a good week, and we'll talk to you later. Call in or text in anytime you want, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, man. Man, that just makes me feel good. I mean, just to be able to do that, to have someone to get to go to their first game at the Swamp. It's just, I don't care if they were playing Little Sisters of the Poor. It does not matter. But for him to go and to do that, it makes you feel good, don't it, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people, like I grew up in New Orleans, and I mean, there's a lot of LSU fans, don't get me wrong, but there's more diehard Saints fans in New Orleans. And so some of them just don't know. They don't go to LSU to go see the games. And then once they go see, they're like, oh, my God. Yeah. Like, it's next level. It's better than the Saints. And that's my opinion.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. No, but if you go to the games, you're like, wow, it can really super get electric.
Yeah.
And there's no, we don't pump in. Well, maybe nowadays it's a little different, but back in the days, we didn't pump in all the sound, artificial stuff and everything,
Yeah.
And it was just human electricity.
Yeah. Well, our one Miami fan, he loves to listen to this segment for sure, and he said he wanted to make a comment about DJ Lagway. He said accuracy was off, ? No way. not a career 57% completion rate guy being inaccurate.
Yeah, against Long Island.
Yeah.
I'm not, well, no, I'll go knock at Long Island. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but still.
It should be thrown better than 57%.
Yeah.
Is Taylor still on?
Yeah, Taylor, you're still with us, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm still here. This is probably the first time I've ever agreed with a Miami fan. I'm kind of speechless.
Yeah, this guy usually wears you out pretty good on Facebook, so it's kind of everything good happens when you beat Alabama. Things just start happening that don't normally happen.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I'm not the biggest fan of Florida. Obviously, I hate the color orange. I don't drink Gatorade. We all know the drill on that. But I'm very happy that someone was able to experience that live. I mean, I talked about it as soon as I came on and went to Doak Campbell Stadium. There's nothing like seeing a game live, seeing your players in action. Getting that experience firsthand is great. So I am very happy to hear that, though.
Yeah, it was a great story, and one of our other listeners wrote, USF will beat Florida this week. Woo. So there you go. So they must believe in Boise State or don't believe in Florida. So anyway,
34-7 on Boise.
Yeah, that's what I'm
pretty
saying.
Massive, and it was 7-3. Boise was leading at one point.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is one of their touchdowns was a fake punt. I didn't watch all of the game because we had baseball practice, but I watched some of it. So I didn't really know all of that.
So here's the take: Alabama's the worst team in the state of Alabama because Auburn won, UAB won, Troy won, South Alabama won. All the top level teams.
Did
won.
Alabama State? Alabama
State and Alabama A&M are 1AA.
Well, I knew that.
FCS. So
yeah.
In the top tier. Division 1A.
Did Troy win?
Troy won. South Alabama won. UAB. They all won. Alabama's the only team. And you want to recap on the state of Florida?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So Miami, Florida, Florida State, all won, right? Mm-hmm. South Florida, Central Florida, Florida International won, and Florida Atlantic is the only top tier team in the state of Florida to lose. Florida Atlantic is the only one.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. The state of Florida, which I am a resident of, which I'm happy about. I'm not too happy about the whole Alabama thing that you just said.
Well,
let me go to the Red 70s phone line. We do have a text message in from Lynn Haven Rob. I'm going to read this to you. Not sure who he pulls for, but I am going. It's just having. Oh man,
is it a rant?
Not good.
Is it a rant?
Well, he just said, we've got pictures, and we're going to have to put this on the Facebook page. Man, we've got a picture of the passing of the Tide. Somebody's decorated our front of our building with flowers and has a bottle of Tide wrapped in flowers, and they're mourning the Tide, saying that we got killed and destroyed.
Now, Taylor, you went off and you said about your quarterback. Now, but he went 9 for 14. Now, granted, it was not short yardage passing for the most part, right? But you scored 4 touchdowns, and they're all rushing. That doesn't concern you at all?
No, actually, it does not concern me. I kind of addressed it earlier in the game, kind of breaking it down. I thought Castellanos needed to throw about 15, 16 passes in this game to be successful, because that meant the running game is going to be effective. Now, granted, I mean, if you're throwing 15 passes and 2 interceptions and you're throwing for 300 yards against East Texas A&M this week, that's kind of concerning. I mean, but if you're able to establish the run early and often, I don't really blame Thomas Castellanos for throwing 14 passes, because I think that was what the game plan wanted to have in this, and I think that's exactly what you do. I mean, if it doesn't stop working, don't fix it. So,
yeah. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and let this out. I told you guys I was going to be a gentleman. I let you go first a little bit and talk about it. Now it's my turn. It's my take on my Alabama Crimson Tide, and I can just tell you that I'm a little bit frustrated, a lot of bit frustrated. I'm aggravated, and it's not the X's and O's that I'm aggravated about. The number one thing that I think for me is that there was nobody excited. There was nobody seemingly had any kind of passion. I didn't see the killer instinct. I didn't see people jumping around hitting each other on their heads. I'm not for the whole doing all the celebration and all that, but I am for the excitement and the tenacity of playing the game of football. They got out physical, they got out pushed, they got outdone. Everything that they did was not what we're used to. And yes, I lived through all the Mikes. I lived through Mike Price, Mike Shula, Mike Dubose. I lived through Dennis Francione. I lived through all of those guys. But whenever I saw a lackadaisical, wanting to play Alabama football team, it just made me so angry because this is what we signed up for. We grabbed somebody from Washington to come and not show any emotion. There was no emotion from the coaching staff. There was no emotion from the players. Everybody was just kind of like, oh, yeah, we're Alabama. We're just going to show up. And that, to me, is the biggest problem. It didn't have anything to do with Ty Simpson's throwing ability. Obviously, we'll talk about that in a moment. But it did not have anything to do about any of that stuff. The aggravation at this point is that you're getting paid money. You're getting paid NIL money. You're playing for the University of Alabama, and you need to act like it because that's really what I saw. I watched all the other football games throughout the whole Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I even went to watch a high school football game. When they made a play, they jumped around. They hollered. They screamed. The sideline was engaged. It seemed like nobody from Alabama was there to do anything. Now, was there people at the hotel that is shared online that says that they were getting DoorDash for Alabama football players at 1:30 in the morning in Tallahassee? If that's the case, then we've got bigger problems than X's and O's. We've got a culture problem at the University of Alabama. Jeff, what do you think about that?
Well, it's week 1, and you shouldn't give up, but you lost to Oklahoma and Vandy last year.
Right.
But you beat Georgia. You know, it's a roller coaster, and y'all are not used to roller coasters.
No.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I mean, what did Saban do? He always steadied the ship. The ship. Who are y'all playing this week? Do you know?
It's a nobody.
A cupcake.
It's a cupcake.
Yeah, and then you followed up Wisconsin.
Louisiana Monroe. By the
Louisiana Monroe.
Oh, okay. It is a cupcake. Actually, the quarterback is former LSU quarterback, Walker Howard. His dad played quarterback when I was at LSU.
Oh, okay.
Jamie Howard. So he's from the Lafayette area, and he left LSU, transferred up to Ole Miss, dated Lane Kiffin's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Still didn't get a chance to play because Jackson Dart was there, right?
Yeah.
And then he transferred to Louisiana Monroe. Now, there's an Auburn former coach that's an administration there. Bobby's son. Is it Terry Bowden?
Terry Bowden's there.
He's at Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been getting pieces and all that to the puzzle, but Louisiana Monroe, let's be honest, they're a bottom dweller in the Sun Belt.
They're a bottom dweller, but are they a bottom dweller to a team that has no fire, who has no tenacity, who doesn't want to play football?
And looks forward to Wisconsin the following week.
Yeah. What happens? And that's the thing. That's what burns me up the most is that all this whole time, you're just going to be patient. You're about to see what's going to happen. Let's do TikTok videos in the locker room. Let's show everybody how good we can dance. Let's paint our fingernails. How about that? Let's see how many views we can get on TikTok instead of learning how to play aggressive, aggravated, ticked off Alabama football. And then go down there and show them because obviously, now Taylor, I've asked you earlier about what you thought the fans and all that was going on. But there was Alabama sideline from what I was watching and from what I've heard was just quiet. It was not anybody over there getting excited about anything. Did you ever look over there and see those guys?
Yeah, and the biggest thing is, too, this is a football team now that is 5-5 in their last 10 games. Does that scream elite to you? Does that scream an Alabama program that you're used to with Nick Saban winning the national championships? And that's an ugly 5-5 slate that they have there. I mean, this is not an Alabama team that's physical, that shows aggression, that shows want. I mean, I'll let you get back to your morning session because I know you got to get there at some point. But just overall, the game itself with the sideline, it just looked very disappointing. I'm not saying that DeBoer should be fired right away. I'm not going to make any kind of rash decisions in terms of that. But this team definitely needs a culture shock, and I think it's got to happen. Maybe it happens this week, but looks a little rough from the sideline that I saw.
Well, and the thing about it is that I'm a believer. I'm a believer in Coach Saban. I'm a believer in the administration. I'm a believer in Alabama football. And so I took it upon myself yesterday to sit and listen to the whole entire press conference. The defensive coordinator, Womack, the offensive coordinator, Grubb, and Coach DeBoer. And there was no tenacity. There was no aggravation. Do you believe that if Nick Saban would have been in Tallahassee going up and down the sideline and had the late hits like we had, the 15-yard penalties, the mental mistakes that we made, do you think his headset would have lasted a half? But no, let's just look up to the scoreboard. Let's just grimace in our face. We need passion because we're passionate fans. Passion works for Alabama. We won several national championships out of passion, out of aggravation, out of being more physical. The one thing that Coach Saban used to say all the time is let's make them quit. And there was nothing but quitting in Alabama's sideline. There was nothing but, well, we'll eventually turn it around. Yeah, there were some bad throws. Yeah, there were some bad misses. All of that's fine. You're going to have all that. Look at all the other games that happened over the weekend. But the one thing that was missing, it was missing the fire. It was missing the prow of eating. It just seemed like they didn't want to eat. They didn't want to get out there and get on them. They just wanted to sit around, push people down. And the one thing that just irks me to the nth degree is the fact that, do we know how to tackle, or are we just going to strip the ball the whole time? The guy wasn't, I get it, Taylor. I'm not insulting your ability to understand whether or not a guy was running the football hard or not. The guy, I could have ran the football all the way to the end zone for that 14 or 15-yard runs. There wasn't nobody trying to tackle him. Everybody was trying to step to the side and rip the ball. I didn't see one ball hit the ground. So why are we trying to rip the ball instead of making good form tackles? That's just not the Alabama standard. And it has to change. We don't have time. If we go through this whole thing again, it could take us and put us in the bottom dwellers. You know, coming into the show on Friday, I was thinking, or into the week, I was thinking, no way we lose to Oklahoma, no way we lose to Vanderbilt for sure, because they beat us last year, because we would be ready for those games. I thought, by chance, first game of the season, you're ready to play. You're ready to go to Florida State. You're ready to beat a team that has been talking big-time smack. The quarterback himself, 5'9", 160 pounds, soaking wet, talking smack, telling you ain't got Coach Saban to get you out of me and being able to stop me. But they go out there and they just try to push him down and try to knock the ball out of his hand instead of tackling his little butt and planting him in Doak Campbell Stadium. Just aggravation.
I just didn't understand the whole aggression with Alabama. I mean, Micah Danzy had that huge 32-yard touchdown, 7-7 on the 32-yard line. You still have the game right there in front of you. Micah Danzy takes it down the left sideline. They missed 2 tackles. The rest of the defense was literally walking to the play, and as you alluded to before, showed no heart, showed no effort. And, yeah, I mean, you could blame it on Kalen DeBoer, but would you rather have Jimbo Fisher?
Probably.
Not there?
At this point, yes. And let me tell you why. My wife she's a football fan, but she doesn't know, hardly anything about football. She asked me questions during the game and all that. And she told me from the beginning, she said, DeBoer is not the guy. She said, you need somebody that knows how to coach in the SEC. And I'm starting to believe her, because you can't just come out of somewhere. I mean, look at what Auburn did with their coach, their former coach. He wasn't an SEC coach. He come come in and he about destroyed that program. Look across the board and see where these coaches come from and understand that you got to know how to win in the trenches. And that's the biggest problem. We didn't win in the trenches. We didn't know how to block, and we didn't know how to get any pressure. There was one time, and here I go, we had 5 people blocking. They rushed 3, and they still got to the quarterback. And the thing is it wasn't some big-time play by the defensive line of Florida State. I'm going to give them all the respect in the world. They did play a great game. They did a good job. They played with tenacity. They weren't scared. There wasn't any fear. They were playing, ready to go. But Alabama, they just were slow. They wasn't ready. They wasn't prepared, and they didn't have any fire. And that, to me, is really what lost that game. And the thing is, we got to take a break. But when we come back, I am going to talk some more about X's and O's, and I want to hear your calls as well. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Here we go. The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson will be awarding the Sports Blitz High School Player of the Week. This will go to the outstanding high school football player for each week. The player will receive a gift card from a local restaurant and an ESPN Northwest Florida t-shirt. Coaches, students, parents, and fans, comment on our Facebook page or call in at 850-215-6290 to nominate.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction, be part of a winning team.
Are you ready for some football? So are the folks at That Boot Store. They have the latest in Western outfits, along with brand names like Wolverine, Timberland Pro, and many others, including Ariat and Old Western for kids. That Boot Store loves the Noles, the Gators, the Tigers, the Bulldogs, and Joe's favorite, Roll Tide. That Boot Store, your team's favorite Western shop, next to Bill Bird Kia on 15th Street. Open Tuesday to Thursday, 9 to 5, Friday and Saturday, 9 to 5:30. Remember what Joe always said, keep Jesus in your heart every day.
The Kings of the Swamp.
Ball's loose at the 38. Gators got it. Wow.
Join Sean Kelly and the rest of the broadcast team as they bring you Gator football all season long.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Gators.
On your home for Florida football, the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
The Florida Gators play here. Listen to select games on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. And now the Gulf Coast's newest sports talk host, Paul Wilson.
Fresh new start.
Locally sourced, farm to radio. The Sports Blitz.
We're starting fresh.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in, you can comment on Facebook, whatever you want to do on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. Gonna go to the Red 7T's phone line and check out some of these texts as well as Facebook. Somebody wrote on here that, let's see, it says, worst prepared Bama team I've seen in 60 years.
Ooh, 60 years. Come
I've been
on.
watching them. Poor coaching and really lack of enthusiasm by the players and the coaches. DeBoer had the deer in his headlight look the whole second half. Pitiful job adjusting. And Womack is without a doubt the worst DC Alabama could have hired. Bama would have loved to have had our third-string running back from Miami. We will be talking about Miami a little bit later. I'm going to read this from the Red 70s phone line as it loads. You know, the thing is that a lot of this could have been handled better, I believe, but it was
by
just
what,
terrible.
the fans?
No, by the coaching staff.
The fans, because they've already given up. I love it.
They didn't
I
give
don't
up.
love it.
Nobody's given up.
Oh, here y'all. You read it all?
I'm
Come
just
on.
aggravated.
You're aggravated, yeah.
All right, so Red 70's phone line. Lynn Haven Rob says Coach O is available and has an itch, LOL, and he knows how to coach in the SEC, so there you go.
They just need to dig a beach in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, they have a beach. Dig a beach. That's what we're going to do.
I'm going to let you know right now. Coach O, there's very few universities that he'll go to. And I said before, I think one of the better ones that are fit for him is University of Houston.
Yeah, but there's no beach in Houston, so we'll see. They got the money, too.
Actually, they do have a few beaches.
Do they?
Well, Galveston, and then there's Baytown and all that. You know, there's little beaches here and there. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got Taylor Devers here from Chat Chat, Norvell Central, on the phone with us. Taylor, give me what you believe realistically is the problem with Alabama, or do you agree with me as to what I was saying earlier before the break?
Well, here's the thing. Alabama could have had Mike Norvell as the head coach. They turned him away. Now he's taken that opportunity that he had and able to bring that upon Alabama at this point in the season opener. He is 5-2 against the SEC in the last 7 games of his coaching career at Florida State. He has basically dominated the whole SEC at this point. LSU twice, Alabama, Florida. He has made that competition. So when you think about can Florida State compete in the SEC, they can. I think that Alabama's problems aren't really a DeBoer problem. I do think that he is kind of putting some excuses out there when he really just needs to have more aggression in practice and having that type of edge that he just doesn't have right now. That's kind of a culture problem I'm seeing right now with him. I don't think he's a bad coach. I think he's probably one of the better offensive minds in college football. But when you have a quarterback that can't really generate any kind of offense, he kind of looked a little skittish. It just kind of was all confused. I mean, you didn't have your, one of your better running backs. It just didn't look all that right. It's okay for fans to feel that way because, heck, I felt that way against Jimbo Fisher whenever he was struggling in Tallahassee. But there comes a standard. There comes a standard of the program that you're living in right now. You haven't seen it in a while. You want to win championships, but DeBoer's not having that happen. So I think it's really important to understand, take a step back, take a breather, because I don't think the sky's falling in Tuscaloosa, but I do think that there are some things that need to be corrected and corrected right now.
Yeah, but let me take you back to you're a friend of the show, and let me rewind a little bit from what you just said because you got me with some of the wins that Norvell's had. But don't forget, the guy went 2-10 last year, and the thing is that we were all talking about whether or not if he gets blown out at Alabama or against Alabama, if his seat was going to get hot. So, yeah, I get it, and I'm with you on the sky not falling, but we live in a now-type world as well, and I think we've got some serious changes to have to do or else he's going to have to go. I get it. You can't wait anymore. It's not like that. The whole college football, especially with the playoffs, the way that it's expanded and how college football is nowadays, you cannot go into the gutter for 10, 12, 15. You can't have that kind of stuff. You got to make changes. You got to make changes quick. And I believe Alabama did look soft. They looked slow. They looked like they were confused. And something that for the defensive side of the ball that really irked me, I get it. Everybody wants to be in the perfect position, but there were several big plays where the Alabama defense was looking at the sideline. Now, Kane Womack said in the press conference there was nothing that they did that surprised us. We practiced everything that they ran, including the trick plays. That was words from his mouth. I don't call the man a liar. I'm just going by what he says. And so he said they practiced. They knew exactly what they were running. They knew exactly what they were doing. But the fact of the matter is that they were looking at the sideline when the ball was snapped. And there was that little bit of hesitation. The linebacker play, and I get it, man, Deontay Lawson is an Alabama guy. He's a Mobile, Alabama guy. He went to a high school right there, not too far away from where I was born and raised. And the fact is that he's slow. I don't know if he's injured. He can't guard a running back out of the backfield. He cannot run sideline to sideline, and he's not the big punishing run stopper in the middle either. He's either hurt or he doesn't have it anymore. And the fact is that, you know, I even heard A.J. McCarron say on the podcast, he said, I was on the sideline. And he knows Deontay Lawson because his kids go to the school where Deontay Lawson came from. And the thing is, he said there was no fire over there. There was no leadership over there. There was nobody angry over there. And the fact is, we can have the best coach in the world, but if the culture of the team is down, there's no possibility of getting that team up with drawing up good X's and O's. And that's where I'm at with this Bama team. I don't care who you had. You could have brought back Johnny Manziel and gave him another year of eligibility and let him run around in Tallahassee and try to get it going. That wouldn't have helped. Did Ty Simpson make some bad throws? Did he look lost at times? Did he make some decent plays? Did he turn stuff into nothing, into something? Absolutely, to all of those questions. But the fact is that it's a culture. There's no possible way that we can look at that Alabama team. Now, don't forget, we're just, and I know I'm hogging the air right now, but I'm aggravated. Give me just a moment. We have 2 years removed from Nick Saban. We're 2 years removed from having Coach Saban here. So it's not like we didn't have him. Let me tell you this. We've got 5 stars at just about every position. There's not a lack of talent in Tuscaloosa at all. So what's the problem? It has to be the coaching. It has to be the schemes. It has to be the way they respond. And there's nobody seeming like they're scared. It doesn't seem like they're scared of Alabama. It doesn't seem like the players are scared to mess up to the point to where they make sure that they're where they're supposed to be. The lack of tackling, the lack of being where you're supposed to be, the lack of effort, the lack of fire, all of those things wrapped in a nice little bow and not being able to play good, sound team defense. I don't know if it's the scheme. The scheme could have been the problem with all of this. But the fact is we wasn't hustling. We wasn't fired up. And even when we made a tackle in the backfield for a loss, we didn't act like it was a big deal at all. Every single time Florida State hit somebody from Alabama and they hit them hard, they were getting tapped on the back. They were jumping around. They were pumping their fists. They were flexing their muscles. They were excited to be there. Alabama acted like they were just there to enjoy the pregame meal and to see the new stadium at Doak Campbell.
I will say this, though. Deontay Lawson made some interesting comments this offseason after Castellanos made his Alabama, can't stop me comments. He said we're going to handle this accordingly. You know what he did? He didn't handle it accordingly. It was a train wreck. It was a disaster. Sure, he was the leading tackle with 6 tackles. Congratulations. Woohoo. But Earl Little, the guy that you got away from the program, that you said basically throwing him off for the dead last year because he had to switch from cornerback to safety, he was an absolute dog. He absolutely brought the aggression, the physicality, the aggression that you want to see from Alabama defense. He brought it. He's what you want in this Alabama defense, and you couldn't even get it because you couldn't even keep the guy on your team.
That's exactly right, and that's the problem. We needed a guy like him with the fire, with the passion, like he was playing with, and that's what's aggravating about it. And when we come back, we're going to discuss all of the other games, and we're going to be giving away on the air the Jacksonville Jaguar tickets. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Text in now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. The Coach James Hale Show.
Here we go. The voice of the Auburn Tigers, the legendary Andy Bertram. Good morning, sir. How you doing? Good morning, sir. Who is this?
It's Mike.
Hey, Mike. Congratulations. Are you taking your wife, a friend, or what?
My grandson.
All right. Good job.
Weekday morning, 7 to 9. At 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday afternoon. The remainder of the day, mostly sunshine and 88 with a gentle breeze at 8 miles per hour out of the northeast. For tonight, clear skies with a gentle breeze and a low near 72. Tomorrow, a wind out of the east-southeast 5 to 10 miles per hour, sunny and a high around 88. For Thursday, sunshine and a high of 88. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
WGSX Lynn Haven WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party. How'd you get your money so quick?
Hard Rock Bet's got lightning fast withdrawals.
Almost as fast as Dale Jr. valeting cars at this party.
Man, he's fast.
Hard Rock Bet's fast withdrawals have given me new motivation. Tips are appreciated.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and up and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. The Sports Blitz.
Welcome home, baby.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You've done it. It's 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. It's a great day here in Panama City Beach. Don't want to leave out our people. Maybe you're getting off from work that lives in Santa Rosa, Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Sandestin, all you guys. Freeport, don't want to miss you guys either. St. Joe, Lynn Haven, Panama City Beach, all of you guys. We appreciate you listening. Don't forget, you can check us out on the ESPN Northwest Florida app. You also can look at us on Facebook. You can see what color shirt Jeff's wearing today. Is it mauve? Is it khaki? Is it gray? What is it?
It's gray.
It's gray. Okay. Looks a little bit like
Alabama fans' mood right now.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Real gray.
Real gray. Yeah. That's pretty fair. Also, YouTube, don't forget, you can check us out on YouTube as well. We're on ESPN Northwest Florida. You can go in right there live. And you can always call, text the Red 70s phone line, 850-215-6290. We're talking with Taylor Devers with the Chop Chat Norvell Central. He's been giving his breakdown of the game. I've been giving my breakdown that I'm having a nervous breakdown. And we, as a staff here at the radio station, is having to talk me off the ledge a little bit because I'm just so aggravated at the way that the Alabama Crimson Tide performed or did not perform on Saturday. Now, moving forward, Alabama's got a lot of things that they need to work on. Obviously, they've got to get the fire back. They've definitely heard all of the stuff that's going on. And I believe that's the biggest problem because you can't throw away the season now since you've got the big playoff picture. There's a great opportunity still. But I'll tell you what, guys, and if we can talk about this for a minute, Taylor and Jeff, when you look at Alabama's schedule, yes, we got Louisiana Monroe. Then we go into Wisconsin.
Not into. You stay at home.
Stay at home. But I'm saying we have Wisconsin on the schedule.
And then you got
a
bye.
And then
Georgia.
You go
at Georgia.
Yes.
At Georgia. So, and then you got Vandy. Okay. So let's say you lose to Georgia, right? And then you beat Vandy. It should be expected.
Should
obviously.
be. Not this team that played Saturday.
And the worst thing that can happen is not 2 weeks after Vandy lose to Tennessee at home. It's actually lose at Missouri before that.
Yeah.
That's the killer. If you lose to Georgia and then Missouri, you want to talk about a hot seat.
Yeah.
It'll be fire hot going at a home game against Tennessee because the fans are going to be mad at you.
Right. And see, Taylor, when you look at it, we discussed this a week ago, 2 weeks ago, even 3 weeks ago. We talked about how that if Norvell could just keep the game close, that would be serviceable for their season, because there was expectation as fans because they were hearing what the coaches were saying, but they didn't get to see it because they were keeping the media out of the practices. But understanding that Norvell was in the same position, do you believe now that there's new life just from, and I get it, man, it's just one game. One game can't make or break a season because especially the first game, you got to be able to play all the way through. But do you believe that with that beating of Alabama, and if you win the games that you're supposed to win, do you think Norvell's job is safe now because of what he did?
Well, here's the biggest thing. So former defensive back Brian McFadden, he spoke to the team right before the game. He said, when we beat Alabama, you can't drink the perfume because it turns into poison. Basically just saying you can't fall into the attention of, okay, we had this nice win, now let's be on our high horse and turn around and lose games we're not supposed to at this point. It just seems like Florida State is in a good position because they play East Texas A&M and then they play Kent State. Obviously, those are two should-be wins. Your schedule lines up really nice. So you're really looking at Virginia, and then you're turning over your attention to Miami. You look pretty good.
Is Pitt not before Miami?
No, it's not. It's after Miami.
Oh, okay.
Right after.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, realistically looking at everything, you really need to make sure that you're connecting with these games, taking it week by week. Norvell talks about it even in his press conference after, saying, basically, I'm mad that we only lost by 2 possessions or won by 2 possessions to Alabama. I am furious because he knows that team was basically destined to destroy that team. He was wanting to go out there and beat them by 4, even 5 touchdowns. He was really upset when Jalen Lucas muffed that punt, because he knew they were going to be at the 40, the 45-yard line, have about 55 yards to go. That's the expectation you need, especially at a program like Alabama. They don't really have that fire, so really when you're at Florida State, you have your high horse. You're in the AP top 15 now at this point. You're at 14 on the newest AP poll. The expectation is high for you. The expectation is still high at Alabama. You still have all your goals in front of you. It's a non-conference game. But can you be able to get up and do that? It's going to be the same for Florida State and Alabama at this point. You need to make sure to connect the dots with those wins and make sure that those expectations that you have for yourself are very high. And I think Alabama's struggling with that right now, and I hope Florida State doesn't struggle with it going forward.
Yeah, and that's what you got to always understand, too, as a team, as a coaching staff, and as a fan base when you look at it, that when you go in and you have such a high win and you go in and you do good, you're expected to come back out with the same fire. You're expected to come back out and not miss throws like you didn't on Saturday. You come out there to block everybody. You're not supposed to have a false start. You're not supposed to be offside. You're not supposed to hold. You're not supposed to do the things. You almost played almost a perfect game as far as being able to control the ball, to control the game, and really take control the whole second half. And then when you come into a game where it's not Alabama, you got to be careful. And that's the thing with Alabama. They've got to turn it around and say, hey, we've got a lot of media going on. And that's one of the things that in this society that we live in now, media plays a huge part because everybody's got it. Everybody has a phone. Everybody's got a Twitter handle. Everybody's got a TikTok video page. They got followers. They're hearing it. Everybody that did bad on Saturday, I'm not just talking about the Alabama kids. I'm talking about every single team, every single player. If you didn't do good or if you did good, you heard it. You got to see it on your pages. You see your social media stuff. You gain followers. You lose followers. You get cussed out. You get called all kinds of names. And so, yeah, these are 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids, and they're having to figure out how to do what is going on. And when you have all this, there's pressure, because every team's not going to be the same. I'm not sure what defense Louisiana Monroe runs. And who's Florida State playing? Who are they playing?
East Texas A&M.
East.
Who just played SMU, yeah.
Yeah, what was that score?
Oh, God, like 52.
42-16, maybe?
Oh, really? They got 16?
Yeah, I think they scored like 16. Yeah, SMU was kind of, I don't know, it was like they were sleepwalking through the game. It was kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have them doing much in the ACC this year.
Well, I don't know. Some people are picking them for third in the ACC, but we didn't have them.
Yeah. We didn't have them, but just because
we
said
said average.
We said middle of the pack,
which means about eighth.
6 to 8 is where I think they'll land. Especially with seeing how good the ACC is this year. You thought you'd never hear that.
The same thing. I mean, like, realistically, Miami won, Florida State won, SMU won. I know Clemson kind of faltered late, and I think they had some expectations there. But who do you think is, like, the biggest disappointment in the ACC? Does it have to be North Carolina?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he's never allowed 48 points in all of his 511 NFL games as a coach. Think about that.
Well, he gave up 47 points to Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills, so don't get me too far away. He was 47.
But guess who was making fun of me for picking Sonny Dykes and TCU?
That would be the host of the Sports Blitz, Paul Wilson. I did make fun of him. Let the record show you were right, Jeff.
I'm going to say three things. One thing, Alabama did miss a field goal. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Y'all ran 3.0 rushing average.
Right.
Atrocious. 5 stars. Horrible. 5 stars doing that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I don't like about what Taylor said was Castellanos 9 for 14, and he's trying to tell me he's a top-tier quarterback in the ACC? I don't know. I'm not going off the deep end on that one. And
well,
didn't you pick Georgia Tech? Didn't you pick Georgia Tech to make the ACC championship?
I thought they were going to be a competitive part in it. Yeah, I thought they were going to be the.
And they handled business with Colorado, and Colorado didn't look shabby.
Yeah, they actually look pretty good.
Yeah, actually look pretty good. And then all these other teams like my Louisville, I picked Louisville to go and play in the ACC championship. And, I mean, they were playing Cupcake, Eastern Kentucky. You know, come on, really? Play some real opponents.
But when you look at it and you look at how Alabama played and you look at how Florida State played, it was a perfect storm. They were ready. Alabama wasn't. Things worked for them. Obviously they did make some mistakes. And I get what you're saying. I get how you as a coach, Norvell's supposed to say that kind of stuff. That's what you're supposed to say because you got to keep your team looking to reach because there is a deal. And it may not be the team with Nick Saban on the sideline. I get it. But there is a deal with Alabama. If you look at it, not talking about the playoff team or playoff games, but if you look at the last 11 games that Alabama has lost in the regular season, that team rushed the field. Their fans rushed the field. And so, Norvell does have something that he's going to have to do to keep those kids motivated because they're not playing Alabama this weekend. There's not going to be, the big talk online about this, that, or the other. Now, he could probably use saying that, hey, they disrespected us by putting us 14th, which I thought that was a pretty good spot for them. But he could use that and say, hey, we beat Alabama. We should be in the top 10. They don't think much about you. Take the underdog route. Nobody believes in you. Nobody thinks Florida State's going to do that. Obviously, the fans and the people listening, because obviously we talked about the social media aspect of it all. The fans are going to be telling, all of the players that did good. They're, Costellos is going to, gain 20,000 followers on TikTok and all of that. But it's going to be a juggling act because this is a long season. And you're going to play good teams, and you're going to play some that aren't so good. And sometimes you're going to look really good, and then sometimes you're going to look not so good. And that's the juggling act of being a college head football coach.
You know, I kind of question about a couple of things there because you saw Norvell was bringing a lot of aggression in the game. Florida State was only up by 7 with like 11 minutes left. They had a 4th and 1 at the 34. Castellanos a little early. His elbow hit the ground before the ball crossed the plane to get a first down. And guess who come in the game to get a 4th and 1 yard rush on his own 34? It was Roydell Williams. And that was an aggressive play call because if you didn't get that, Alabama could go right down the field and score and tie the ball game up. And then next thing you know, there's 6 minutes left to go in the game, and you're trying to search for answers and wonder why Norvell went for it on his own 30. It worked, so obviously you're not complaining about it. But realistically, though, you want to continue to see that drive, that want to be in the game, want to stay aggressive, want to consistently be there, be the underdog role. I know this is Florida State. I understand that. But you have to find an edge to yourself to say, you know what, we're not going to let this happen. We're not going to let Alabama go down the field and tie it and make this an interesting ball game like we did against LSU and had to block the extra point at the end of the game to figure out a way to win. No, we're going to knock them out now. We're going to put them down while we can and then knock them out so that way they can't even say, well, we only lost by a touchdown. We only lost by 3 points after we had such a big loss and deficit. No, Norvell wanted to absolutely destroy that team, and that's what he did.
Well, I also, having to see Gus on the sideline, I've seen him several times. I've watched several games that he's coached before, even when I would watch the Auburn games, just being a fan of college football, watching Auburn play. And the fact of the matter is he saw something that he realized early on, and you could tell when they scored their first touchdown. He was talking to his assistants, and this is something you guys don't know about me, but I'm a lip reader, not by profession, but I like to read lips and try to see what they're saying, and I'll rewind it on my TV. I don't know. I'm just weird like that. So if I see somebody saying something off, the camera or off side or whatever, I'll try to see if I know what they're saying. And there's been times where I've been pretty good at it, and it seemed like that's what they said. At least that's what I believe. And so anyway, it seemed as though there was this confidence that Gus had in his offense and a not-so confidence in Alabama's offense. And to me, that's the second part of the game that we really haven't, or at least I haven't said much about, is that being able to have one of the things that Coach Saban always used to say is having explosive plays. It seemed like we were stuck in the mud when we were running. It seemed like we were running our routes too long. We wasn't making sharp, crisp routes, and he wasn't throwing the ball, throwing them open. He was waiting for them to get open, and that's a difference when you're having a quarterback and a wide receiver. You got to throw them open sometimes, almost like what Spurrier used to do with his quarterbacks, is throw to a spot rather than just throwing them to them where they are at that moment. But anyway, getting back to Gus, there was times where Gus, you saw the smile, you saw the snicker that, obviously aggravates all of us Alabama fans when we see it. He had this confidence about it that it didn't matter if Alabama would have scored off of that 4th down. He felt like in that game on that Saturday that there was really nothing Alabama was going to be able to do to stop them on the defensive side of the ball. So that's why I believe they had the courage. They had the ability to say, you know what, I don't care if we're on the 10-yard line, 4th and 1, we're going, because even if we give up a touchdown and it gets close, I don't think they can stop us with the play calls that I've got and with the way that they're playing so far.
Yeah, I thought there was a couple of things there, physicality-wise, that Florida State just outmatched a lot of things. Now, I will update this as well. Also, Mike Norvell had talked about earlier in his press conference after the game, Roydell Williams is actually going to be out for an extended period of time. Yeah. Probably going to miss a couple games. My hope is he's back by Miami. That's what I'm thinking. They've got a couple other running backs like Cam Davis and Keziah Holmes, who scored on that touchdown on the pitch, on the goal line. They got a couple of guys there, but happy for Roydell to finally get his moment against Alabama in a pivotal moment in the game. But just incredibly unfortunate that he gets hurt again He's having to backtrack a little bit more in injury-wise, and you hate it for a redshirt senior that's trying to get his last moment.
Yeah, that's been his MO. I mean, obviously he didn't get a bunch of playing time early on, but he did have, some big-time, problems there. We're going to go ahead and go to the Red 7T's phone line. We got Robert from Panama City Beach. Robert, are you there with me, my friend?
Yes, sir, I am, sir. I'm actually from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I'm a migrant down here. I'm a big Tennessee fan. I got to say thank you to Florida State. Appreciate that. But I'm in my mid-50s. I have watched Alabama. My brother's a big Alabama fan. I've watched them from Bear Bryant all the way up. I have never in my life seen Alabama's offensive line they didn't get their butt whipped. They got their A whipped. And they, like going back to last year, they had the same problem in the secondary. Tennessee, that's how Tennessee beat them last year in Knoxville. Their secondary sucks. Ty Simpson is like a distant relative of mine. Receivers, no offense. These guys, the NIL has changed college football worldwide. I'm sorry, the ball hits you in the hands, you better catch it. You better catch it. And, Williams had a couple bad drops. The offense, I've just never seen. Evidently, it must have been MTSU or somebody that got off that bus other than Alabama. I'm a first-time caller, first-time listener. Y'all are awesome guys. And all I can say is thank you.
All right. Well, Robert, we appreciate the call, my friend. We hope you continue to listen. And, you're exactly right. You're 100% right. I've never seen an Alabama team look like that. The offensive line looked so slow. They did not seem like they could do anything. You know what? I don't care if you're 6'6", 320 pounds. If you get beat around the edge, there's a problem. And I get it, man. And I'm specifically talking about our all-world right tackle. And the thing is that you wasn't all-world. And that's the problem. You're supposed to be a top 5 pick, but he was getting beat every single play. And they were having a double team. And then when they would double team, guess where the rush would come through? The middle. And the thing is that, come on, the guy couldn't do anything. That's why it's not me that I don't feel like Ty Simpson is the problem. I get it. They want somebody more electric back there, but he did make some plays with his legs that he was able to get out and throw. But he did make some bad throws, don't get me wrong. But I don't think we start at the quarterback. I think we start with that offensive line. Didn't you see that, Taylor, when you were watching?
Yeah, the Desir twins, true freshmen. They were out there. Both Desirs are probably about 275 pounds, 280 pounds. They're going against y'all's offensive tackles that are a solid 305, 310, have a size advantage, and they just got outmatched. Let's just be honest. That's the biggest key in the game, as you said.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And if you can't block anybody, it's like the NFL. You won't be there very long. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into all of this mess that happened over the weekend with the ACC, Jeff's favorite conference. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Touchstone service. The Red 7T studio line is open.
Demonstrate how to make a call with your dial telephone.
850-215-6290. It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Tuesday's weather forecast. Clear tonight with a low near 72 and a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunshine tomorrow morning, a gentle breeze out of the east, and a temperature of 85. Slightly hotter in the afternoon and evening around 89 with sunshine and a wind out of the southwest around 8 miles per hour. Sunny Thursday, a light breeze and hot around 88. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 4 decades in business, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to take your collection to the next level. All new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia and supplies, new and vintage cards and Pokemon. Buy, sell, and trade. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards inside the Stanford Station on 23rd Street next to Academy Sports. Come see the bigger store and the larger inventory, or visit online, InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Mentorship might sound huge, but the truth is, it takes little to be big. Just showing up can spark confidence and connection in a child's life. Right now, more than 300 kids in Northwest Florida are waiting for a mentor. Be the one who makes a difference. Call 850-433-KIDS or visit BeTheBig.org to get started.
Your 2025 Atlanta Braves are still grinding out the wins and making memorable moments for fans all across Braves country.
Swung on and belted, headed for the Braves bullpen, and gone.
Tonight, it's another National League battle for Ozzie Albies and the Braves as they look for a big win against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field.
Braves taking on the Cubs, pregame 6 o'clock, first pitch 6:40. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios, the new Sports Blitz.
Oh, yeah!
Rants, hot takes, and huge reactions are incoming on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We appreciate you from all of the local areas listening in, whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you're tuned in on YouTube, or if you're just doing it the old-fashioned way, you're listening on the radio. We appreciate you. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share all of our social media stuff, and as well, don't forget the ESPN app. ESPN Northwest Florida is free. You can take it anywhere, and it can be a benefit to you. Going to go through real quick and make sure that we thank the people that make this possible, that we're able to be here and talk to you. Don't forget to visit those guys, AutoNation Ford in Panama City, right there on 15th Street. If you get a chance, go by there, check out their inventory. They've got new trucks, new cars, new SUVs coming in daily, and they are ready to move those vehicles. They want to give you a good price. They've got some great deals with finance. Go ahead and check those guys out, and if you want a discount, go over there and tell them Paul Wilson sent you. Now, ladies, we know that you guys have been driving very good lately because we haven't gotten any reports that ladies have been hitting the curbs very much. So, guys, if your vehicle is in bad shape and you need a fix, you need to take it over there to Recommended Collision Center on Jinx Avenue. Go see Brandon over there. They will take care of you, the right fitment, the right paint. They will make sure they get you right. And they also do small repair. If there's something that you think, man, I don't know if I can do this, maybe fixing a mirror, maybe fixing a door handle, any of those type things, take it over there, let those guys look at it, and make sure you say Paul Wilson sent you, because you definitely will get a good deal over there. Guys, we're talking about something that's so dear to Jeff's heart. It's the ACC. Now, I will say this. We got to slow this boat down just a little bit. As aggravated as I've been at my Alabama Crimson Tide, and as I can't let 1 week change my preface on what I think about these conferences, about what I think about all of the stuff going on, because it does matter. There are perfect storms. There are looks. Do I think if Alabama plays this way against Louisiana Monroe next Saturday, that it won't be a close game? Absolutely, I do. I think if Alabama comes out there flat, they'll look like garbage. Do I think they'll lose? No. But I think they could have a bad game and look really bad and make the game close. But do I believe that Florida State is going to play Alabama 10 times and that same Alabama is going to show up 10 times and lose like that? I just don't believe it. And so with all of this, we can't get the horse before the buggy. Alabama struggled. Florida State played great. We got a long season to go. Thank you, Taylor, for being here. Now, let's move into the ACC. And so we're going to talk about the first game, which we should talk about. And it's something that is dear to Jeff's heart. I've been messing with him about it. He even, hold on, Taylor, who did you pick for the LSU-Clemson game?
I picked Clemson.
Okay. Jeff, my friend, who did you pick for the LSU-Clemson game?
I picked Clemson.
He picked Clemson. He's an LSU fan, but he still said Clemson was going to win, and I just can't believe it. And so, guys, if you got a chance to watch the game, obviously it was one of those games that you knew was going to be tough. You knew that it was going to be physical. You knew that the fans were going to be in it the whole entire game. I thought it was going to be a close game. Thankfully, it was a close game. It actually, for me, was the best game of the weekend. I really had a good time watching it just because you didn't really know what was going to happen. You felt like it was going to be, you felt good about LSU, then LSU didn't look so well, and Clemson would look good. And then, I just kind of didn't really know. It was a good football game. You had 5 stars all over the place. People were playing physical. Both teams were exciting. But, Taylor, we're going to let you go first and give us how you watched the game and what you thought about it. Obviously, you probably had to record it because you were, traveling and having a great time with the Florida State win.
Yeah, the parking garage that we were at, the guys didn't really get out of the parking garage so quickly, so we decided to tailgate up again and make some burgers again and watch the LSU-Clemson game. And, I was impressed, though. I mean, the game, as you said, was a very physical game. You had 2 good quarterbacks. Well, I say good in terms of the production, in terms of what happened in this game. But just 2 great, even good coaches, too. But, I mean, just reality, though, I think LSU has found their match with ACC opponents. They don't need to schedule Florida State. They need to schedule anybody else other than Florida State to get the job done, and that's why they won on Saturday.
Well, I mean, look at who we lost in those 5 years that we lost the season opener.
Yeah, Mississippi State was one of them.
Mississippi State was the first one. Mm-hmm. And then we lost to UCLA in Los Angeles. We lost 2 times to Florida State, neutral sites somewhat. I mean, it's Orlando and New Orleans. I mean, are they really neutral sites? Not really.
Yeah.
And then USC was last year, and, we were alive in that game. We weren't alive in that second Florida State one, though, because we lost by 2 or 3 touchdowns. It was not really that close. But this game right here, somebody said, and they have memory loss, they said that this is the best defense we've seen since 2018 from LSU. And what they don't remember is the last game of that regular season was that Texas A&M 7 or 9 overtime game. That defense wasn't really that good,
no.
To be honest with you. So that's the biggest impression I got, was from the defense, obviously. Nussmeier was not spectacular.
No.
28 for 38, short yardage passing, 1 TD. Klubnik, he just killed his Heisman run. One interception, no TDs. 2 less yards than Nussmeier, 252 to 250.
Yeah.
But incompletions. And then we had a good run game. Durham did pretty good. Our 3 wide receivers that are the stars, they finished like second. Some other guy got like 1 catch. Another guy got 1 catch, but he was like suspended for the first half of the game. So we had our leading, the person who led the team on receiving was not one of the 3 stars. So we had a guy step up like that. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's a 7-point win. We shouldn't go crazy about this because we've got a SEC, I don't want to say top notch. It's average at best SEC opponents because we're not playing Texas and Georgia. And I'm not jumping off that train that Texas is still going to possibly make the playoffs. Because, I mean, they're playing Ohio State, and that defense, we saw that,
Yeah.
Ohio State's defense is definitely, should we even say top 5? I would say top 5.
Yeah, they're probably top 5. But when you look at what happened with the LSU-Clemson game, I think a lot of things that you got to look at is this going to be the year finally that Miami, Florida State, Georgia Tech or Louisville, are they going to be able to knock Clemson off of their little pedestal that they've always dominated for this whole entire time that we've known as the ACC? And the thing is that when you look at what they did, they played good defense at times. There were times where they didn't play as well. They didn't tackle well. They didn't wrap up well. But the big thing that was glaring to me, and again, guys, you've heard it for about an hour and 15 minutes. I told you how bad and how wrong I was about the Alabama Crimson Tide, but I was not wrong about Cade Klubnik. He is not a Heisman Trophy candidate. He is not a first-round draft pick, and I don't care how long he's been there. I don't care how much Dabo talks about him. Cade Klubnik is just a mediocre at best quarterback in college football. And the thing is exactly what happened, what I told you, is if he can't run the ball, he's not going to stand back there and beat you with his arm. And he couldn't. He made a lot of bad throws. He couldn't throw on the run. And if he wasn't tucking and running, he wasn't making positive yards. He didn't really get the ball out quick. He wasn't getting to his wide receivers early. He wasn't throwing a lot of balls in the flats. I saw him miss balls that should have been thrown. And I'm not a fan of Cade Klubnik. And when you look at college football, if you want to make a big deal and you want to make it far in the playoff, if you want to win your conference, if you want to be in those games, you've got to have a good quarterback. So is this the year? And I get it. We're only talking about the first week. Yes, they'll beat this team. Yes, they'll beat that team. We haven't looked at their schedule. But if they have to run into Georgia Tech, if they have to run into Miami, if they have to run into Florida State, if they have to run into even Syracuse. Syracuse wasn't terrible. They were terrible early and got behind early, and that's what their Achilles was.
But they never gave up, and they scored 26, and second half they looked like they had still, fight in them.
Yeah, they looked like a different team.
Yeah.
They come out, in a different look.
And I don't believe Boston College is going to have anything. They played Fordham and blew them out. Actually, Virginia was the one that I was most surprised at, other than Georgia Tech taking out Colorado. But Virginia beat Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
48-7.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
And that's a whooping. I mean, I'm not jumping on the Virginia bandwagon, don't get me wrong, but Coastal Carolina is not a bad team.
No. And that's the thing. You can say what you want about all of these things about Clemson, and one of our listeners wrote, they talk about elite, how elite their defense was. It wasn't elite because there again, if you look at Garrett Nussmeier, you said he didn't wow you. He missed some throws too. He was making some of the wrong reads as well. I told you in the beginning of all of this, I don't see him as being that great. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. Do I think he's better than Klubnik? I believe that. But I'm not saying he's great either. But, yeah, there was some cracks in this Clemson defense that for so long has been able to dominate games. And they were there at times to dominate, and they didn't dominate. And that's what's kind of got me thinking that Clemson might even not make it to the championship of the ACC this year.
You can't not score in the second half and win, and that's what they did. They were up 10-3. They scored all 10 points in the first half.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Yeah. I mean, at least Arch Manning freaking scored in the second half, after being shut out in the first half.
With 3 minutes to go. What was you going to say, Taylor?
Oh, well, I mean, I saw Dabo Swinney had made his little post-game conference about they made a 65 and we made a 58, and none of us were even great. And then Brian Kelly had come in there later and said something about, LSU scored an 85 or something. I don't know. Both teams were not at their highest level. We understand that. But at the same time,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Georgia, you're playing Georgia Tech in 2 weeks at Georgia Tech. So you're really going to test that again. And if you fall down 1-2, oof,
Yeah, but they lost 3 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson in the regular season.
Yep.
9-3.
Yeah. And they still made it because they made it to the championship of the ACC and they won.
And why? Because the Hurricanes choked.
Right. They did. And that's right. And don't forget now, let's look at that real quick because I wanted to bring this up the other day, and I know we don't talk about NFL on Tuesdays, but if you look at it, I saw the posting of it. Do you realize that every single person that was on the offense of Miami of the Hurricanes that went to the pros, whether they signed a contract, whether they got drafted or whatever, do you realize that the only offensive player that made the 53-man roster was Cam Ward? Everybody else got cut.
Wow.
So it really was the Cam Ward show last year for the Miami Hurricanes. Not that they didn't have good players. Not that there's not some good players out there that just didn't make the roster or didn't make a fit or whatever, or that can't, catch on the scout team and then eventually work their way up. But I'm just saying, we do say that Miami choked, and they did. However, their whole season was based on one player, and I know I'm going to get some hate probably for that saying, but Cam Ward carried that team.
Let me take some more.
What?
Let me take more hate than you would ever get for that statement. Miami is a pretty good institution as far as higher education goes, but they accept people who don't reach that standard. And that's, what other school is this good education-wise but lets in people who aren't even close to that? The Hurricanes are number one.
Really?
Oh, yeah. These guys, do they look like the most brilliant ones, these players?
I don't know. I don't know.
Absolutely not.
Well, the thing is, all I know is that when you look at Clemson, when you bring it back, it's just like one of our listeners had said, Cade Klubnik is about a mid-range quarterback. But if you look at Clemson this year, this might be the first year that Dabo finds himself on the outside, because when you look at it, there's some tough teams in the ACC, and I cannot believe I'm saying this. But, man, the first week for the ACC, that has to be a record of some sort, because the ACC looked good. They looked really good. And if, I don't know if Florida State is a contender or if they're a pretender. They beat Alabama, but we'll see what they look like for the remainder of the year.
Now, which team, though, that did lose would make you think that they're even better? Was it the UNC versus TCU, or was it the Virginia Tech versus South Carolina?
The Virginia Tech versus South Carolina.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech's got some players. I think they just haven't figured it out. And I think Lenore Sellers was just really good.
Yeah.
He was really brilliant that night. It was just his game. Everything was working for him. There were a couple of times, if you look at it, and I know we haven't talked about this game yet, and we might do that, but if you look at it, he was getting tackled in the backfield, and he was just able to get loose. Yeah. So, they missed some blocking assignments on that South Carolina front. And Virginia Tech's got some dogs, and they've got some returning players, and they got experience, and I like their coach. I think he's doing it the right way. But when you look back at Clemson with a tough Virginia Tech team, used to Clemson just would skate through everybody, and it would just be like, okay, we're waiting to get to Alabama. We're waiting to get to Ohio State. We're waiting to get to Georgia. Now they're going to actually have to play good teams in the ACC. Taylor, I'm going to give you a minute to comment on that real quick before we take our next break.
Yeah, there was a couple of teams in the ACC that was kind of questionable. I don't think Clemson's going to have any problems with Wake Forest, who literally just played Kennesaw State a couple of days ago, and they won 10-9 with Robbie Ashford at quarterback. It looked disgusting. If you want to say anything about the ACC, Wake Forest is, without Dave Clawson there, it's disgusting. But just overall, though, the product of some of these teams that they're going to be looking at, like even Jeff had talked about before with the Louisvilles and the NC State that looked really, really good, Georgia Tech. There's a couple of teams out there that you're looking at and you're like, man, I don't know if Clemson can get to a couple of these teams. Even a Troy next week, that they've had some tendencies also as the group of five to knock off a couple of those Power 5 schools, even at their home field. So, we're going to wait and see, but, Clemson's got a road ahead of them, and the ACC can be kind of dangerous for them.
Yeah, and Lynn Haven Robb said that Carson Beck is going to carry Miami just like Cam Ward did last year. So when we get back from the break, we're going to discuss that game and how the Hurricanes did. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Killing the game. Call or text us now on the Red 7 T studio line. 850-215-6290. The brutal hits, the heartbreaking turnovers, the Rorik comebacks.
In for the touchdown.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida delivers the biggest matchups of the week from across the nation. Your college football headquarters on the Gulf Coast. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Experience a higher level of service. David Adamson Designer Jewelry has been providing you the very best of fine jewelry and repair in Lynn Haven for over 32 years. David has added Amber Anderson and Russ Clare, names you've known and trusted in PCB for years with your fine jewelry and watch needs. Find that one-of-a-kind engagement ring, that special anniversary gift, or something colorful just for you. Amber and Russ will find it or build it for you, serving Bay County and beyond in Lynn Haven at the corner of Ohio Avenue and 9th. David Adamson Designer Jewelry.
The Kings of the Swamp.
Ball's loose at the 38. Gators got it. Wow.
Join Sean Kelly and the rest of the broadcast team as they bring you Gator football all season long.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Gators.
On your home for Florida football, the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
The Florida Gators play here. Listen to select games on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your 2025 Atlanta Braves are still grinding out the wins and making memorable moments for fans all across Braves country.
Swung on and belted. Headed for the Braves bullpen and gone.
Tonight, it's another National League battle for Ozzie Albies and the Braves as they look for a big win against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field.
Braves taking on the Cubs. Pregame 6 o'clock. First pitch 6:40. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida.
If you build it, they will come. We're live from the CBC Construction Studios. This is the Sports Blitz, where we don't have guests. We have punching bags. The Sports Blitz on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's 5:45 on this beautiful Tuesday. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here. Don't forget to call in, text in 850-215-6290. We appreciate you calling. We want you to be a part of the show. And we are going to talk about the Miami Hurricanes facing the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Now, the thing is that before we begin, I've got to read something that was lifted on Facebook page because Jeff, he kind of made some disparaging comments about the Miami Brilliants or their brains.
Well, no, the athletes.
The student athletes.
They don't sound intelligent.
Okay. And so this was, here we go, from, let's see, what was that from? The Miami Herald.
Yeah.
University of Miami student athletes set a school record by posting a graduation success rate of 94%, as announced Wednesday by the NCAA. 94% mark, best the previous school record of 93, which was set both in 2012 and 2022. This is the 8th consecutive year and the 11th year in the past 12 that Miami has earned a 4-year average rate of 90% or higher. The Hurricanes' GSR is higher than the national average of 90%. And the person that wrote that said, read that on there. I lost all respect for Top Golf Jeff over there.
Top Golf.
So you got called out. Top Golf Jeff. So anyway,
I wish you'd just call me by my real name, Putt Putt Jeff. I'm really good at putt putt. No,
oh man, here we go.
90. Okay, so GSR that's the graduation rate for athletes. I'm guessing
graduation success rate.
Okay, so I don't want to say they're giving out these things like yeah. I don't know. I'm still not impressed because if you watch like interviews with the athletes, there's a difference between student athletes and athletic students. And those guys are not athletic students. They aren't. Because you listen to their...
I know.
They're not articulate. They're not. And Taylor, you're a Florida State fan. Agree with me, please.
I hate that you're kind of getting the blunt of this criticism because I would be the one to say that. So I'm kind of glad you're taking this on now.
Yeah, well, the last time you were on last week, you had said some disparaging comments about Miami, and they said, "Who's this guy? Where'd you find him?" So, yeah, you and Jeff definitely have the ear of the Hurricanes, and definitely their words of non-encouragement.
Listen, and you know what? It's really bad when you hear it coming from an LSU guy. I'm just saying.
Oh, man. Well, let me just go into it, guys. You know, again, I'm going to keep reminding you, when I'm wrong, but when I'm right, I'm right. Carson Beck looked very good. The ball was really spinning out of his hand. I saw him make a lot of good throws. I saw he had poise. You know, he showed the type of quarterback that I thought that he was going to be coming in and that we had talked about with Joe over there at Miami. And the thing is that we've got to really, really, really look at what they have going forward. Miami looked good. And to beat a Notre Dame team who usually is tough in the trenches, who runs the ball well, they really did have good defensive stops. They really did have C.J. Carr kind of confused at times with their packages. I thought they really did a good job on mixing it up a little bit, giving him different looks. He is a first-year starter, and he was pretty good. I'm not going to say that he was bad at all, but he was really good. He had some good throws. He had some confidence boosters that he made, gave his team some hope. And so I thought Miami played really good, but there was that confidence that they had going into the game.
Yeah, I mean, C.J. Carr, okay, so I don't know. I saw Freeman on the sidelines, and he never lost his cool. The guy's cool as a cucumber. He looked like he had it more together than Cristobal. Even when, Miami's up by 10 points. Yeah. And they're up by 10 points with 10 and a half minutes. I said, well, this game's over with. And what does Notre Dame do? They score 2 more times. And then Miami ends up winning by 1 score. I'm impressed by Freeman as the Notre Dame coach. I actually did not have them in my playoffs, but I did pick them to win this game. And now that they've lost this game, now I don't say I look smart because I didn't pick Notre Dame to go to the playoffs, but now the chips are stacked against them.
Just when we thought it could get worse, it actually got better. Somebody said, Ryan Warren said, couldn't agree with Jeff more. So many arrogant Miami fans, but I've never met one that's actually graduated from there. So there you go. But when you look at how good they played, Taylor, I don't know, it just seemed like a different team. I don't know. He wasn't moving around a lot. It seemed like they really have, and it's the first game of the season, but they really did look like they were really intent on making sure that Carson Beck didn't get hit.
Yeah, I was kind of confused about some things that they ran offensively. I know Carson Beck was pretty comfortable in the pocket and everything, but, I mean, that pass to C.J. Daniels where he had that amazing one-hand catch there, it's like a 20-yard pass.
Yeah.
The safety just kind of sat back and just waited for it to come in his hands and try to intercept it. He wasn't aggressive. I thought that was a little concerning from Notre Dame because you thought that they were going to be more the aggressor. They've been there, done that. Miami's not really been there, done that as much lately. I think Carson Beck had a pretty good game. Not saying it's perfect, not even saying it's picture perfect. There were moments, like Jeff had said, they were down 10 points, had to come back and tie the game at 24. And then you thought maybe Notre Dame would have one more stop in them to eventually get a field goal and win the game themselves. But it just looked like that Miami team was more prepared, especially in the first half, to do what it was, just because they were at home. But I'll say it, I was wrong. Miami showed up for a home game. I am congratulating them because guess what? That stadium is not halfway filled. It's not a rented-out stadium, quote-unquote. It is actually fans that care about a program that wasn't Florida State playing in that stadium.
Yeah, well, that was something that I noticed as well. Whenever we turned it on, we had just gotten home. We'd went and hung out with my parents for a while and watched that whole game from front to back. And that was the number one thing that really shocked me is the fans were there. They had the lights going. The orange was very relevant there. They did not seem like that Notre Dame was out fanning them for sure. And, I mean, we watched it on the 4K option on, I'm not going to tell you what brand because they don't sponsor us. But I just know that we can really get to the point to look at, is Miami after week 1, are they somebody that can really, really, really do something in the ACC and really make a run and a push to go to the playoff?
I'll say this, though. I really hope that Florida State-Miami game is a top 10 matchup where College Game Day is coming there. I know Lee Corso is not going to be there, obviously, with that. Hope he can still be able to come and still rejuvenate in the Florida State program that he has been there and been a career leader in interceptions. But I think this is a time where I don't really want to see Miami win, but if we get a top 10 matchup in Doak Campbell Stadium at night in that rivalry matchup, I would take that 1,000%.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at the 14 ranking, or did you think it would be more like a 17 or 18?
Personally, I thought we were going to be like 20th, 19th. I thought even lower than that, personally.
Yeah, I was surprised that it actually you know what, though? I think that overall they went by based off of who they played, and I think they still aren't buying that Alabama's tanking. I don't, you know what I mean? I still think
21's pretty low.
It is low. It is low, but I believe it was more about how they played, and because, you know, a lot of teams was like, a lot of people were like, oh, well, they shouldn't even be ranked in top 25, you know, because of the way they played. They scored 17 points on the road against a team that had only won 2 games the year before.
I think the one who got too high is Clemson's ranked 8th.
Yeah.
What in the world? Come on, man. They should not be top 10. They didn't lose to number 3 Ohio State. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, do you think there is a chance that Florida State was ranked 14th because they're trying to anticipate that top 10 matchup? I mean, because they're all about money, obviously. But if you get Miami and Florida State, even though Miami's not really done things the last couple of years, they still like that rivalry of Florida State and Miami. You know, with them wanting to get that top 10 matchup, do you think they're trying to get Florida State as high as they can so maybe they can get that 9th or 10th spot by the time Florida State rolls in?
Yeah,
with that matchup?
Yeah, that's a good chance. I don't know. But real quick, we're going to go to the Red 7T's phone line. We've got our ticket winner for the Jacksonville Jaguars this weekend playing the Carolina Panthers. Bubba, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Man, congratulations, brother. I am so thankful you called in. We're thankful that you got to call in. And man, we're just hoping that you have a great time down there in Jacksonville. You're going to Duval. Is this your team, or are you just an NFL fan?
I'm an NFL fan. I follow more college than I do NFL.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to call. And you know what? You get to go down there and see some of those former college stars, Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter, Sunshine, and my Heisman Trophy winner, Bryce Young. And so it's going to be a pretty fun time, isn't it, Bubba?
Yes, I want to enjoy it.
Well, I'll tell you what, make sure you send us some pictures and so that we can post those on our Facebook page, and you know what I mean? That's just an awesome time. And you know what, Bubba? You should take you a pair of swim shorts and jump in that Duval pool out there.
Yes. So I appreciate the chance to win and all that stuff, and I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Bubba. Have a great time and be careful, my friend.
All right. Not a problem. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good night, man.
Bye.
You know,
back
go
over
ahead.
to no, go ahead. You were going to talk about the Jacksonville?
No. That was
okay.
it. I was just going to let you say what you wanted to say real quick.
I don't have the paper with me. I know you do for this week's games and all that, but I just want to get a couple of games out of Taylor and see what he thinks. One of them does involve a ACC team. I think Duke's playing Illinois, and Illinois is ranked like number 10 or number 9 or something like that?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They're 10th, I believe. I think
what do you think about this Duke-Illinois matchup?
Yeah, give me Duke there.
Okay.
I think the physicality of Duke is going to be too much.
Wow.
I don't think Illinois is very good.
Yeah. And then the other one that I think...
Hold on. Not so fast, my friend.
Oh, you want to?
Better put in Illinois, buddy. Illinois is going to have a chance
to noise
compete.
in Illinois. Illinois.
Well, you know what? If you want to be the English teacher, you can be that.
English, Jeff.
But I'm just telling you, the Fighting Illini, how about that?
Yeah.
And Brett Bielema's coming to town, Duke, and you better watch it. That's it for us. You've been listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We will see you tomorrow. We got some awesome stuff to talk about. Tennessee Volunteers, get out of my face.
evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Tuesday's weather forecast. Clear tonight with a low near 72 and a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunshine tomorrow morning, a gentle breeze out of the east, and a temperature